now I'm going to jump over to Sky Tower radar. And we've had multiple tornado warnings off toward the east. You see one around the Clewiston area. That's in purple. That is a confirmed tornado. And Valerie's been over here. We've been getting these videos. These are confirmed, most of these tornadoes, well east, of course, of where the center is. And these spin-ups are going to continue all afternoon long. So when I talked about getting into more active period, Highlands County, DeSoto County, Hardy County, just to let you guys know, in the next couple of hours, we're going to see a lot of that energy and that spin get up into you folks. So even though it's not raining there right now, we need to be on the lookout for potential spin-ups for tornadoes. Meanwhile, look at this line of rain that is getting ready to bump up against the coast. And by the way, within this line of rain, there are definitely water spouts. Do you see that really bright-looking, almost white-looking green color? That's spin. So what this line of rain is showing is that it's spinning as it's getting ready to approach the coast to the south. So from Fort Myers northward, we got some incredibly heavy rain, and it wouldn't surprise me to get winds gusting 50 to 60 miles per hour in that band of rain or higher. It wouldn't surprise me at all. And that's all going to move on shore. So from Venice northward, right along the coast, you are where you're going to be. I mean, we're here. You know, we've got incredibly heavy rain. We got some incredibly gusty winds. Now we're getting to the point where severe weather is starting to play in as well. And this is what we've been saying. By the end of the morning,
very powerful storm. That storm surge that's been set into place, regardless of how much this weakens, that is still just going to be just as powerful. But right now, you're looking at Sky Tower radar, and you see that number of tornado warnings that are underway down to our south, down towards the lake. We had a number of these work their way right over Alligator Alley, confirmed tornadoes. In fact, some of the FDOT cameras capturing these tornadoes. What we're going to be watching here in the short term is this band right here. It is right along the coastline, and it is spiraling right up into our southern counties. So down in the Sarasota County, down into Manatee County, you're really going to start to feel the real force of this over the next probably 45 minutes to an hour. And then we watch for some of these cells that are down towards the lake, and these are going to be working their way up towards the north and the west. So places like Highlands County, some of our inland counties, you're going to be watching those extremely closely as well. And of course, we also have that very heavy rain that has been falling pretty much off and on all night and early this morning. And that combined with the amount of rain that we're going to continue to see over the next 18 plus hours, or potentially even longer than that, that is going to start to cause more and more of these flooding issues.
And we want to thank the mayor and everything they're doing in Hillsborough County as well, because we have our first tornado warning of the day. And this is coming in a place that we've already had a confirmed tornado, Jim. So this is headed into Highlands County.
Yeah, we've watched a number of these cells working their way down to our south across Alligator Alley, a number of confirmed tornado warnings, and you can see this area that we're talking about. This is now working its way into southern Highlands County. So just putting some of the cities across central and southern Highlands County. This is moving to the northwest very quickly, 35 miles an hour. This is a radar indicated. We did have a signature in here and earlier of a confirmed tornado. So if you're in this area down across central and southern Highlands County inside this warning, essentially from Lake Placid to the south, you want to go to that safe location in your house, because we do have a storm and a tornado that has been confirmed earlier that is working its way up in this direction. And this is very quick moving. You flip over and you look at the reflectivity, and you can really see that hook in there as well, which is
those
disturbing.
towns that Jim put there in the bottom left, that gives you how many minutes until, if this thing is on the ground, if it holds together, it's going to get to you. So again, we're talking about Highlands County now. This is just the first of what honestly we believe is going to be a lot. It'll be a lot of tornado warnings. There's another one in Charlotte County as well, and that's encompassing that huge area of rain that we've been showing you pushing on shore. And it wouldn't surprise me, Jim, as that moves northward, if that doesn't start to impact Sarasota County with warnings as well.
Yeah, I really do think that we're going to see more and more of these warnings, and this is something I know you and Valerie have been talking about this through the morning. We've been watching this line, this very intense line. If you go out a little bit wider on this, you can see how it is just that one of these spiral bands that's just going to continue to work its way on shore. So places like Sarasota County, I mean, it could be really in the next 20, 30 minutes that we start to see some of this activity working its way along there. And this is all well in advance of the really strong winds that we're going to see later on today. But we have that threat right now, the immediate threat of these bands, these outer bands that work their way through, and you get these quick spin up tornadoes, and it's going to be just a really bad afternoon, it looks like.
I don't think I've ever seen a tornado warning on the east side of Lake Okeechobee and then another one on the west side of Lake Okeechobee. But there is the case. You have two distinct tornadoes, one on either side of the lake. The atmosphere and the way that it's all spinning, it's very violent right now. And that type of atmosphere is moving up to the north, which is why we're beginning to get the warnings in Highlands County and then Hardee County, DeSoto County. Well, you don't have any warnings yet. We're likely to see these as they continue to move to the north. It's a multifaceted storm, and I know we've been focusing on landfall, storm surge, but before we get to that, we've got these tornadoes, which are initially kind of kicking off the whole event, I think, for the area.
Yeah, and we just continue to see, when we look at that, what we call the rotation detector, we're definitely seeing a very definite signature of a rotation with this cell, and it just, with it moving so quickly on to the north. This is gonna be something that gets here really before you know it. And so if you're in these central or southern portions of Highlands County, you want to get into that safe location, away from doors, away from windows, into the middle of the house on that lowest level.
And this is what I want. People are probably saying, well, you know, a lot of times you guys don't, you see these tornadoes, the radar indicates them, but they're not there. Well, listen, folks, that was from earlier. Maybe an hour ago in Palm Beach County. That is a confirmed tornado. Those are the types of tornadoes that this has been producing so far this morning. And I just wanted you to realize that when we tell you there's a tornado warning for Highlands County, folks, and it could look potentially something like that, I need you to get into that interior room, Jim.
And this was from a cluster, the same cluster of cells that we've been watching. So all these cells that were down across Alligator Alley that confirmed tornadoes down there, these are the same ones that are now moving up into our southern portions of our viewing area. I want to go ahead and just talk about some tornado safety really quickly here, just to give you an idea of where you want to be inside your house. So you want to go away from those, you want to go towards the interior location, avoid the windows in your house. So this is highlighted with that bathroom, so that's a really good place, right towards the center of your house in that lowest spot in your house.
For most people, that's a bathroom.
Yes.
It really is. And if it's a closet, I'm sure that it's probably not cleaned out enough for you to get in there. But for typically, yes, it is that interior room that we're looking for. You know, as Jim is bringing that radar back out, that vicious line of rain from Bradenton all the way down through Bonita Springs, there was no doubt there's got to be some 50 to 60 mile per hour wind gusts in there, okay? So the onset of the tropical storm force winds arriving now. The Sunshine Skyway is closed. Jim, we've got tornado warnings. It's all beginning to ramp up.
Yeah, and again, we've got this tornado warning for Highlands County. That goes until 12:30. Just so you know the timing on this, quite likely this could be extended. So if you're, say, into northern and up in northern Highlands County into portions of, say, southern Polk County, you're not under a warning right now, but that is certainly something that you want to be watching if you're in these areas as we go through the next hour or so. But right along the coastline, even though Sarasota County down into Manatee County, you don't have any active tornado warnings, I want you to be careful at this point. This is not a point to be outside or really be venturing out at any point, because these strong bands have now worked their way into the area, and any one of these could really very quickly spin up a tornado. So you don't want to put yourself in harm's way by being too far away from your safe location.
That whole area that Jim has circled in the white, that oval, that in any one of those particular bands, cells, could be rotating. And that's what the big concern is. We saw them rotating when they were sitting out over the Gulf. So some of them are, and some of them have been, and that's why these tornado warnings are being issued. And again, all of this and that incredibly unstable atmosphere is lifting northward. And eventually it's going to get into Hardee County and northern Highlands, and then eventually into Polk County as well.
Yeah, exactly. And this is still, I mean, these are those bands, because as you measure where the actual center of this storm is, just off the coast. Let's measure this, say from about Sarasota. We are looking, this is still 135 miles away. So these are those bands that are working their way through. And we're just starting to see more and more of the frequency of these bands working their way through. Sarasota down towards Cape Coral, Bonita Springs, that's where you see down towards Naples. That's where you're seeing already a number of tornado warnings. And then we've had those confirmed tornado warnings into the middle portion of the state.
I'm going to do a little calculation. Yeah. You keep talking. Keep talking. Okay, here we go.
That's what we call team effort here. So in the Highlands County, just once again, I want to kind of zoom in. We'll take a quick look here to see how this cell looks. And what you're really seeing here when we look at this, as I clear some of this off so we can get a better look at this, it looks like we've got yet another warning coming out just to the south of Highlands County, down into Glades County. It looks like this was just issued here, but just going in on this.
And not only that, but you can see the hook in that situation as well. And this is, that video that we just showed you looked like this on radar. So what I'm trying to tell you is more than likely, and this is a confirmed tornado now. You see it in the purple there as that is beginning to pinwheel and work its way toward the northwest. And I need my folks in Lake Placid, in Highlands County, and right there along Highway 27, I need you to get into your safe spot, okay? Because there is more than likely a tornado on the ground to the southeast of you folks.
Yeah, what you're looking at right here, this is the debris detector, and you can see, this is why they are confirming this at this point, because what you're looking at right there, that is debris. That is debris being lofted up into the atmosphere, and we are now picking that up on radar. So that is debris. It looks like down here we have another signature. This is in the Glades County, so that is not in our viewing area, but this is quickly working its way up to the north as well. So this is going to start to work its way into southern Highlands County, but right there you see it on radar. We have confirmation where we're actually picking up that debris, that signature right now. This is going to be working its way up into southern Highlands County. So if you're hearing this in Lake Placid or across southern Highlands County, and you're wondering, do I go ahead and go into that safe location? This is the time. Go in that safe location. If you're listening on your TV, just turn the volume up so you can hear us. But you want to go into that safe location because we have a confirmed tornado right here.
Boy, I tell you what, based on the looks of it and that debris detector, we got two.
Yes.
You got that one that Jim was just talking about southeast of Lake Placid, but the other one there east of LaBelle, showing that there is some debris being lofted as well. So you have two relatively close together tornadoes potentially on the ground here, and then another one in the east side of the lake. And this is what's going to happen on and off throughout the entire afternoon as we start to work our way toward the north. It's going to be these individual little isolated tornadoes or right along the coast within that main line of rain.
Yeah, and it's just going to be just more and more of this activity as we continue throughout the afternoon. We see a lot of these well out in advance, and that's exactly what we've got going on right now. I'll kind of flip back over and when we look at the velocities, and this is still, you look at that velocity, it's still holding together quite well. And this is a fair distance from the radar. So your signatures become a little bit harder to see just because you're so far from the radar. The actual beam is shooting up a little higher into the storm. But when you see a signature like this, this far from the radar, that gives you a really good indication. This is a pretty strong tornado. You see this down to our south as well. This is outside of our viewing area down towards Fort Myers and Cape Coral. But the issue is these are moving so quickly onto the north that any of these down here within 30 minutes could be up into our viewing area, into southern Sarasota County. So that's why we have to watch the activity down to our south as well that is outside of our area.
You know, what we're going to do in the next couple of minutes, we're going to put a track on this so that we can kind of track it up toward Lake Placid and maybe see what towns are in the way. But Jim made a really good point. With the radar being as far away as it is, and we can see a signature over southeast of Lake Placid, okay, a signature that strong. Yeah, there is something on the ground there, and something that obviously everybody in this area needs to look out for, needs to get into that safe spot. So put a track on the storm, Jim, and that's going to take us up through Sebring in about 55 minutes.
Yeah, so I'm not saying it's going to make it all the way there. We have to wait and see, does this hold together? But this cell, it's really shown this signature for quite some time. So I know this warning goes till 12:30 for another 30 minutes, but if you're up towards Sebring, over towards Cruiseville, Plains, these are areas that you want to be going ahead and you know, taking cover pretty soon here, because you could find yourself under a tornado warning fairly soon with this.
I mean, we're kind of at the point now, we've been telling everybody around lunchtime, be where you're going to be, and I'm hoping that even though you haven't had a lot of rain in Highlands County, that you are where you are supposed to be, because again, even though these are isolated in nature, you can see some of the hooks on a couple of these indicating that these are likely on the ground, and these tornadoes are moving into portions of Highlands County, and maybe that particular tornado doesn't hit your county, but I need folks in Highlands County from Lake Placid to Sebring to get inside and stay inside and get into that safe spot.
Yeah, you can see this has now been changed to a confirmed all the way up through Highlands County, and essentially what we've been saying. We're talking about that hook. Just going to want to highlight that. What you're actually looking at is you're looking at a very strong inflow, and that's where you get that little notch in there. You get that hook, and so you've got the tornado right in this area here. You flip over to the velocities, and right there, that is exactly where we're looking at this. Just kind of going back and forth on this, you see it just really hasn't changed that much. I mean, it's maybe a slight bit of weakening, but I mean, this could easily pulse right back up.
West of Okeechobee around Brighton, I need you folks in your interior room, Parker Island, Lake Placid as well. This may stay just to your east, but we're not going to take that chance. Marland, Wild Island, Fort. Is it Bassinger? If I pronounce that wrong, my apologies on that. But it's a pretty big circulation, Jim, and it stands to reason, especially you're putting that debris detector on, that there's definitely something on the ground there.
Yeah, anytime you see this change here, we're looking for that debris in the atmosphere, and so you're picking it up at this point. So not only are we seeing it with this cell, but you can really down in the Glades County, and it's somewhat surprising that this has not been switched over to a confirmed tornado, but this is quite definitely a tornado as well. You look at the velocities on this.
That thing has definitely picked up debris from somewhere.
Yes.
I don't know, maybe further south, and it kind of brought it with it, but that signature, Jim, you're saying it's just, these aren't that far away from each other as well.
No, I mean, let's go ahead and just do a measurement here. From one tornado to the other, which is something you never thought you'd be talking about.
I know, they're only 20 miles away from each other, no.
I mean, and so essentially all through this area, go out a little wider on this to kind of give you just a perspective of where we're talking about. And yeah, this other one, it's not in our area, but this, before you know it, is going to work its way right up into southern Highlands County. So from, say, if you are living south or southwest of Lake Placid, no, you're not under a tornado warning just yet, but you have to watch to your south for this cell here. This one that is currently in Glades County is just on the cusp of working its way into Highlands County. And again, this is moving to the northwest at 35 miles an hour. By the looks of it, this is going to be crossing over into Highlands County in probably about the next maybe 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, and right now it's in an area that is very sparsely populated, and I understand that. But it's getting ready to go closer to Lake Placid, which is a much more highly populated area. And with a signature like that on the radar, and Jim's been showing us that hook, and we're showing you the debris detector. Folks in Highlands County, you need to get into your safe place. Okay, whether you're in northern Highlands County or southern, let's just get inside. Let's just stay inside, because these tornadoes have been whipping up out of very quickly, and they've been holding together as we've been noticing them, which is probably one of the reasons the tornado warning is like 45 minutes long, because they have been holding together,
Yeah, I mean, we've seen this all through the morning. I mean, many of these cells were the same cells that actually created these tornadoes down across Alligator Alley. And I mean, what was that, 2-3 hours ago? So, I mean, these have been showing just more and more of that rotation. And they just really haven't let up. I mean, at some points, you might be getting the actual tornado lifting off the ground, but then they're quite likely coming right back down, because as you look at that debris detector, once again, I mean, it becoming maybe a little bit more obscure, but you're seeing signs that we've got debris, and you definitely have this a bit further to the south as well.
When that debris is lofted up, and the signal is sent out to the radar. It hits that debris, and notices it's something solid, so it sends back that brighter color. And that's how we know that yellowish color, that green, that there's something else it's detecting besides just rain in there, and it's debris being lofted, whether it's branches or whether it's parts of buildings or trees, we don't know. But that is a sure sign, Jim. And you've been talking right where Highway 27 intersects as you're going down toward LaBelle and Moorhaven. That's where that signature is right now.
Yeah, I mean, because what we're looking for with a weather radar, we're looking for raindrops. And so the radar, it knows what a raindrop looks like. And when it picks up something that is not shaped like a raindrop, we know it's something different, and that's debris. And that's how we can tell. I mean, just the simple science behind how that works is basically we know it's not a raindrop. So what else is there? It's debris. And so that's what we're seeing with that. Just kind of going out wide once again to see what exactly we've got going on here.
And not only that, if you look and you see the warnings on there, but we put the radar into motion just for a few minutes, you can see all of this activity sitting out over the Gulf, and all of those thunderstorms, those little, they look like little fingers, don't they? You see them? Any of those can be rotating. Any of those can produce, if you will, a tornado. There are those little fingers there, and it's just, you get this massive friction as these intense winds are wrapping around the storm, and now they've hit the land, and that friction of the land, and you're starting to get that spin, and this is sort of the onset of the whole event, folks, because outside of that, the rain is coming down tremendously heavy from Bradenton southward, and now moving over the Skyway. So St. Petersburg and Tampa, that heavy rain is not too far away from you folks as well. You know, Jim's looking at that, you know, the rainfall rate. And Jim, I know it's not going to rain for an hour in one particular spot, but you get an idea, 6.5 inches of rain per hour in that band, 5.7 in the other. You may get a half-hour long band, but you're going to pick up 2 to 3 inches of rain in it. Yeah,
and anytime you get something like this is just that absolutely torrential downpour. I mean, when you're in a storm like this is about as heavy of rain you will ever see in your life coming down. So it's just, you can't see more than maybe 20 feet in front of you.
And not only that, but you're throwing in easily some tropical storm force wind gusts to go along with some of those downpours as well. That's when you're really going to see those winds just really ramp up, when you're getting into some of those downpours. So while the coastal areas are beginning to get that very heavy rain and the wind is going to start to pick up, it's the inland locations, and we're dealing with the tornado warnings. And this is going to be like this for the next few hours, with the heavy rain along the coast, Jim, and then, of course, the tornadoes right along the coast and inland. It's sort of the onset as Milton continues its path toward this area.
And you can already see just over the past 12 hours, I mean, we're just getting started here. And we're already starting to see these rainfall totals along the coastline already at 3 inches, essentially. And now is when we're just basically getting to the point where we're gonna start to really tally up these rainfall amounts very, very quickly, as now the heaviest parts of this is starting to work its way on shore with that first rain band. And again, just watching this tornado warning, this goes until 12:30.
Look at that.
Yeah, it looks like it's, I mean, this is just really
that thing is spinning. There's no doubt about it, too. And that's why Lake Placid south on 27, Lake Placid east to the Highlands County border. I know it is a sparsely populated area, but we've got some wonderful folks that live out there. And I need you guys and gals to stay inside. I need you to get into that interior room. Well, look, just by the looks of the radar, there is a tornado on the ground. It's been confirmed. That's why it's blinking purple. That means it's been confirmed. It's not just a radar indicated now. And even though it might stay east of Lake Placid, I need everybody in that area to get inside that interior room. Jim mentioned it. Throw your TV up on, throw your volume up loud. You can hear us there. You can always catch us to it online. But this is very important for people east of Highway 27. Lake Placid and eastward. I need you guys to get inside and stay inside.
Yeah, I mean, in the last couple of scans here, it may be kind of losing that sign of the debris, and that may just simply because we're much more in a rural area and we're just not picking up as much debris in this. You're still definitely seeing a rotation, a little bit more broad right now with this. So, you know, it might be an indication that this is somewhat lifting. It may not. Again, we're very far from the radar site to the actual center of this, so it's something we're just going to continue to watch here as we go through the next few minutes here, because I mean, with that one, we've definitely had this history of a tornado in this area, and the signature on this really look impressive, but it does look like as the last couple scans, maybe
it could be weakening
starting to weaken a little bit, but that certainly does not mean if you're in this spot, you're in the clear. You still want to stay in that safe location with this, because that may just be this scan or two that just isn't showing this as well, and it can ramp right back up as well.
Yeah, if you're watching again from the coast, if you're watching from, from Sarasota County northward, we had a huge line of rain, part of the rain band coming through now. Within that line, we have had some spin-ups. East of that line, you're getting those individual cells, which have been going tornadic as well as the activity continues to ramp up as Hurricane Milton's on its way. And we've been telling everybody at about lunchtime or so is really when you got to be where you got to be and just stay inside, because now that the rain is ramping up, the winds are to follow as well. The core structure of the storm itself probably not going to get here till after dark. I know, tough time, but that's probably when the worst of the weather is going to get here. So right now it's isolated tornadoes, heavy rain bands along the coast.
Okay, what I want to do here is I want to do a quick radar tour showing where we are right now, and then we're going to kind of toss back, and we're just going to continue to monitor this. But we do have now a confirmed tornado down into Charlotte County and down towards Lee County. This is this area that we've been watching. Now the concern with this is this can quickly work its way up into southern Sarasota County. So a little hard to see right here. We flip over, we look at some of the rotation, and you're seeing many rotations in here where you're looking at some of these green shaded areas. It looks like probably most likely down in this area as well. And this is going to race on towards the north, this moving to the north about 40-45 miles an hour right now, and then over into Highlands County. That's the other area that is currently inside of our viewing area. And when you look at this, we're still seeing, it looks like it's just crossing over into Highlands County. This one here maybe starting to show a little bit of a weakening trend, but still a very strong rotation with this. When we look at the, we're looking for that debris. We're not seeing as much of a signature with this. So if you're into southern Highlands County, you want to stay in that safe location here. If you're really anywhere across central or southern Highlands County, you want to be playing it safe right now and be away from those doors, be away from the windows in your house. So we've got the one along the coast outside of our viewing area, south of Sarasota. That goes till 12:45. We also have the other one in Highlands County. That goes until 12:30. I think we're just going to continue to monitor these areas here, and if anything changes with any of these, we'll get right back on it and kind of keep you posted on it.
Okay, guys, you got it? Did you get all? Russell, we've got a lot of weather to get through. And it's starting to move in now, too, with a heavy rain band along the coast. And then, Jim, we have some severe weather inland as well. Yeah,
I mean, we just continue to watch more and more of these tornado warnings, and I think that's going to be what we're dealing with much of this afternoon, is just tornado warning after tornado warning. Just that big wide view here of this satellite, and you're seeing a lot of lightning in this still. Even near the center of this, you see those little spurts from time to time as this loop goes on, because it's trying to maintain itself, but at this point, it's going to continue to weaken because of the dry air and the wind shear, so it is doing its thing. We just need to do it quicker. Now there's a view there of all the wind shear and the dry, that's the wind shear picking up the storm and just kind of scooting it on towards the north and the east. And we're just kind of jump.
Tornado warning for southwestern Highlands County. They're basically taking that one from near LaBelle, and they're kind of pushing it up. They're moving it. It's near Palmdale. Moving northeast at about 40 miles per hour. So that just came down at about 30 seconds ago.
This is the area here. And I mean, we're getting cluttered with all the tornado warnings in this area. But there you see, this is that area that we were talking about earlier with this cell that was down to the south, basically just to the west of Moorhaven, showing the signs of rotation here. And it is working its way. This is the actual one right here. Let's go ahead and circle
it's going to be around Lake Placid at about 12:40. Again, give or take a minute. So I need folks in Lake Placid to understand that you have a tornado likely to the east of you, and now you have one to the south of you. So that's all the more reason to get into that interior room, because there's one to the east, and Jim, looks like there's one to the south, just based on what the rotation looks like.
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking about both of these at length here over the past 30 minutes or so, and I mean, they're both still showing very definite signatures. Let's look to see if we're seeing any signs of debris. It does look like, I mean, I'm not seeing it in this one that is now in Highlands County, but this one that is about to come in, still seeing the sign that we likely have some debris being lofted by this.
Yeah, the atmosphere is just it's very violent right now.
Very
and
turbulent.
if you probably go outside, and I don't want you outside, but if you have been, you probably see how fast those clouds are just whipping across as well. You got to understand, there's a major hurricane 150 miles or so off the coast. So everything now is in, this atmosphere is just chaotic as, we push all of this activity up and into the state. We're going to start with these tornado warnings and these heavy rain bands, and then it'll just continue to go downhill from there as the tropical storm force winds will begin to take over later today.
And you look at places like Lake Placid, and essentially you're covered by two separate tornado warnings right now. You've got one to your west, which is confirmed, which is moving very close to you, if not on top of you. And then you have yet another one that is just to your east that is doing the same thing. So, I mean, this is, pick which one. I mean, you've got them coming from both directions, both coming very fast up from the north. But just to kind of circle the area here.
Just that wind whipping around this storm, just rotating just violently and just whipping up these tornadoes, or at least these, and listen, and those, when you see that purple, if you're just joining us, when it blinks purple like that, that means it's confirmed. There's a tornado on the ground, or there was a tornado on the ground, and we've seen multiple of these, and it's kind of early on, because this tornadic threat goes through the afternoon, through the night. The tornado watch is till 9 o'clock tonight, Jim. So we've got a long way to go with this.
And after that, that will more than likely be extended. It will just be moved. That's why they put a time such as 9 o'clock, because when we get to that point, they'll reassess and they'll see where it is most needed at that point. But a good portion of our area will be dealing with really the threat of these tornadoes as we go through the overnight hours as well. You look also down to our south, down towards Port Charlotte. We've got another confirmed tornado in that area as well. Then working its way up into Sarasota County. You've just got that torrential rain. I want to look at some of the velocities with some of these, because it's just really just off the coastline right here. You see this? You're seeing these signs of some spin in some of these. So quite possibly you've got some water spouts here, which are essentially just 10, 12 miles off the coastline. So these are getting a little too close for comfort, because it doesn't take long for one of these to spin right along the coastline and cause yet more issues.
We were trying to go through the whole weather forecast for you, but these tornado warnings won't let us, but we're doing our best.
I'm sure we're going to get to it at one point. We're going to just talk about the radar a little bit more here. Now, to the north, not to forget any of these areas right now, we're just not focusing on them so much. Let me clear off all the stuff that we've got going on here right now, so we can actually see the radar. Pinellas County, Hillsborough County points north. You've got a lot of rain, but you don't have any of the severe weather threat yet at this point. Although, as you look up just to our north, you're seeing some of these cells up here. You're not seeing any spin in that, but you certainly have some pretty strong cells now working its way up towards Sumter County, up into Citrus County, and then you see just kind of this dot. You see all these little cells. So what happens is you get these outer bands, and then as they spiral around, you get these very intense cells. So you see this time and time again. You get, here's one, here's one, here's one. You had a couple of these, but fortunately, none of these showing any signs of any rotation at this point. But work your way into central and southern portions of Pinellas County, Pinellas Park, right along, say, Tierra Verde, down towards Fort DeSoto, across the Sunshine Skyway Bridge. This is why they've gone ahead and closed the Sunshine Skyway Bridge, because now that this line is moving through, that's something you just can't drive through something like this. The winds at this point, they're likely 40, 50 miles an hour in these, down towards Anna Maria, all along the coastline, through Longboat, down in the Lido, down in the Sarasota.
Jim, stay there, watch this. So you were talking about the winds. the winds are gusting to 45 now in St. Petersburg just from those rain bands coming through.
Exactly. There you see it. Sustained at 35, gusting to 45. And that is just one of these outer rain bands. That is not a tornado. That is not the actual center of this. So conditions will just continue to really deteriorate very quickly. And you see this right now. You look at Sarasota County. It's basically from the northern part of Sarasota all the way down into the southeastern corner of Sarasota County. It is all torrential rain right now.
We're getting to that point. I know the Skyway Bridge is already closed. Those winds are gusting over 45. How you doing, Valerie? And Jen, the Courtney Campbell and the Howard Franklin, is that a solid 45-mile-per-hour wind when they would close that, or?
I don't know if it's the wind necessarily, but it's the water pooling up onto the bridge because it's a little bit low-lying bridge. But for the Courtney Campbell, it's a Tampa Police Department and Clearwater Police that will determine that closure.
But they're still open as of right now?
They are still open, yes.
Okay, as of right now they are. I just wanted to ask that. Sorry to put you on the spot there.
Okay.
Again, just kind of going back to Southern Highlands County, looking at the rotation in this. Still seeing rotation, I will say, over the past few minutes here. It looks like these are maybe a little bit more broad. Tornado warnings continue. It looks like they just issued yet a new tornado warning for Highlands County once again.
Let me read this off to you.
These are the areas that are just going to continue to see this.
There was a tornado located 7 miles southeast of Lake Ishtakba. I knew I was going to mess that up. My apologies. 11 miles east of Lake Placid, and that is moving north at about 20 miles per hour. Tornado located about 11 miles east of Lake Placid, moving north at 20. So that is the latest warning. What they do is they're kind of fine-tuning these warnings too, as well as they're coming out. They're confirming some. They're just kind of popping up all over the place inland. And again, this is very common with landfalling hurricanes to have these tornadoes pop up. This is not uncommon, especially in some of those heftier rain bands too, which is why we're seeing them along the coast as well. There are multiple areas where we could have tornadic development throughout the rest of the afternoon.
So we're just going to continue to watch these two areas here. I think let's go ahead and let's give much more of the information as well as we continue to watch both of these areas, and then just more of that band working its way through quite likely as we try and make our way through this. So we're going to end up seeing 18 inches of rain. Sky Tower radar just continues to show this very intense band of rain. You see the warnings down here. This is down in the Charlotte County. You see the purple shaded warning. That is a confirmed tornado. This is moving about 40 miles an hour to the north. So over towards Arcadia, down into DeSoto County. Have to watch this very closely because it will not take much time for that to work its way onto the north. And then over towards Lake Placid, moving over to right near Sebring as well. You've got one warning just to the south of Sebring, right towards Lake Placid, and then you have this other one. These are two areas, this one further to the east. For a time, that was a confirmed tornado, but still showing really strong signs that this is rotating. And so we're going to continue to watch these areas very closely as well, because after they move through Highlands County, they work their way up into Polk County, so over into eastern Polk County, into southeastern Polk County as well. And you're just seeing more of these strong bands working their way along the coastline. And the center of this storm, go out wider on this, and you can see it's still a ways offshore. This is still probably about 130 miles off the coastline, but we're going to continue to watch it very closely, because now that the center is on radar, we can really keep a very close eye. We watch for those wobbles, because at this point, we're done with the computer modeling, essentially. We're not watching for that forecast track to change significantly. What we're waiting for and watching for is if we get any of those wobbles with this. And those wobbles, they could ever so slightly change who gets the worst part of this. But at a point with that storm surge, those wobbles can make all the difference in the world on just exactly who gets this. But essentially, from the coastline of Manatee County down through Sarasota County, that looks like that is going to...
We have another tornado warning to pass along to you. And while it's in Charlotte County now, it's heading northward, but it's heading up into DeSoto County.
Yeah, I mean, it's these same areas, and it looks like I'm hearing yet another warning here.
I'll get that one while you talk.
So you cover the other one, and I'll talk about this here because this is DeSoto County. This is also into Charlotte County. This is a confirmed tornado. This goes until 1:15, and you see this line. These are the same areas that we've been watching down towards Sanibel, down towards Fort Myers. Looking at the rotation with this, you can really see this right there.
Yeah,
It just kind of.
This was a confirmed, listen to this, confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado located near Babcock Webb, or 12 miles north of Fort Myers, moving north at 25 miles per hour. Now listen, this is what we call a particularly dangerous situation. This is an extremely dangerous and confirmed large tornado. Now granted, in that particular area, as you're getting up toward DeSoto County, it is sparsely populated, but the population starts to increase, Jim, along Highway 17 as you're getting up closer to Arcadia, you know, and the storm itself moving north, like you said, at about 25 miles per hour.
Yeah, I mean, this one compared to some of the others has been moving slower, but that's the concern. This is a confirmed tornado, large tornado, and this is moving basically right up into, say, southern DeSoto County, right along 17, Fort Ogden, pushing up to the north. So if you're in this area, this is where you want to go ahead and take cover now in those.
The other one that just printed out while we were talking is for southeastern Polk County, north central Highlands County. Tornado possibly located near Sebring Regional Airport. You can see it right there. Obviously, you can see it there, the way that red is next to that green. It's 11 miles east of Sebring. This is moving north at 25 miles per hour. So a tornado detected in that particular area as well. So this spot in Highlands County, we also have that other tornado warning out for the Lake Placid area. Now, Sebring, you are warned as well as Avon Park. You know what? How about everybody in Highlands County just get into an interior room now, and let's just do it that way, because I got to be honest, there's so many multiple little circulations that are popping up, Jim. And I know that they're small, but at the same time, these are particularly dangerous situations. These are tornadoes that we've seen on the ground.
Yeah, you can see all the tornado warnings that cover Highlands County right now, and it's becoming more of a situation of who is not in a tornado warning across Highlands County, because you're in the minority if you're not in a warning in Highlands County, because we just have so many of these. Now, we've got two areas that we're watching. I'm going to zoom in to the first area, which is down towards Placid Lakes, Lake Placid, and this warning here near Placid Lakes, this is heading to the north here, north at about 25-30 miles an hour, and that goes until 1:30. We also have another area, this one here, this goes until 1:45.
Yeah, 1:45.
And this is the one that is just to the north of Highway 98.
Yeah, you know, over there is the Sebring Regional Airport. So this rotation is really close to that Sebring Regional Airport, which is actually about 11 miles, if you will, as the crow flies, east of downtown Sebring itself. But yet, Loretta, there, just along 98, it's just north of Loretta. So between Sebring and Loretta, in that spot moving north, Jim. Yeah.
Yeah, and here we're looking at the rotation, and where you see this green, if you start to see some reds or yellows, that's just showing an extreme rotation. But we're definitely seeing some rotation in both of these areas. Here you've got one area here, you've got the other one down towards Lake Placid, and both of these very quickly working their way on towards the north here, looking at that traditional or what we're a little more used to seeing here is the velocities. It does look like maybe a sign that the one down towards Lake Placid,
hopefully,
starting the weaken a little bit, but still seeing a decent rotation north of Loretta. But again, maybe a little bit of a weakening trend. I'm actually just going to back it up here. We can kind of get an idea here, and you do see right there, right as it was passing over
Loretta,
98,
yeah.
it just really looked like we more than likely had a tornado on the ground right through there, and then you see just a little bit of a weakening trend there. We'll kind of wait and see if we continue to see that weakening trend, but I want to go out wide because we've just had so many areas that we're watching.
Tornadoes are a common occurrence, especially in the northeast quadrant of landfalling hurricanes. As I say that, though, and I'm looking at this one particularly that's in Charlotte, kind of heading up toward DeSoto County, this is an extremely dangerous and large tornado that is confirmed. And a lot of times, Jim, hurricane tornadoes are relatively small, but in a case like this, we're getting some big-time rotation within these bands of rain. That'll give you an idea of how powerful Milton is, just in general, and how it's again moving closer and closer. And as it does, the impacts are getting heavier and heavier.
I want to point out something. Now, we were showing some video earlier of some tornadoes across Alligator Alley. We had that just amazing looking video there. These are different because what you're seeing there, look at that, it's just amazing. Because you've got rain-free areas, and so you're seeing a long range to these tornadoes, and you get that classic video that people take of tornadoes. Now you go back to the radar, and we look at these areas, and this is down in the Charlotte County, working its way up towards DeSoto County. But as I circle this area that we're really honing in on right through here, and then you look at the actual radar, you see it's inside of all this. So if you're in this area, you can't count on actually saying, hey, I can see it, it's coming. You are in torrential rain. This is embedded in there. You don't know it's coming. So this is what's working its way right up towards Arcadia, up into DeSoto County, and so many of our southern counties continue to see exactly that.
Yeah, and this is one of the great things about the radar and being able to look inside and see what the winds are doing. Because if you look at the reflectivity, which is what you're looking at now, you see rain. You see a lot of very heavy rain and all over there, but you can't see inside the storm. And this does allow us to get inside and to see that and to see these multiple areas that are rotating, and they're continuing to move north. So listen, Polk County, you're finally getting into some rain. The winds aren't that bad. But this severe weather threat, this tornado threat, Polk County, it's coming at you. And what I'm trying to tell you is these warnings, they're probably not going to stop there. They'll just continue to be pushed upward. But as Jim just mentioned, we're getting to the point now where the rain, you're not going to be able to see these. And so that's what we don't want anybody trying to go outside and trying to see this. And that video we just showed you, that was from an FDOT camera. That wasn't from an individual. So they're going to most likely, closer to the coast, be rain wrapped, and then they're more individual as you get out here, like in Highlands County.
Yeah, and this is not a situation to try and get that video that you want to post on social media, because number one, it's obviously extremely dangerous, but number two, you're not going to get the video because these are rain wrapped. You can't see these. They're so embedded in all this, but they're extremely dangerous. These are the types of things that basically they can kill you. I mean, all the debris that, I know we don't have the debris from Helene here, but when you get along the coastline and we start getting these strong winds and we get these tornadoes, the amount of debris that is going to be flying around in a situation like this. But this is, again, watching two areas here specifically. You have an update here?
Yeah, via ham radio, we do have that. This confirmed tornado on the ground with damage noted near North Fort Myers. So that storm that they just warned, the one that we said is large and extremely dangerous, there has been in the Fort Myers area damage confirmed from that tornado. That was received via ham radio just a few minutes ago, maybe 10 minutes ago. So that is, again, the one they're talking about.
So here, this is where you're going back to, this is at 12:40, so what we're about 45 minutes ago. Then you can see that developing just north of Fort Myers. That's where we got that confirmed tornado, and then continues to work its way onto the north, right up through Charlotte County. So this is that cell, and where we had that confirmed tornado, and continues to show quite a bit of rotation. It does look like maybe a little bit more of a broad rotation, but I'm just kind of noticing right through here, you're still seeing, while it's not nearly as strong, you're still seeing that rotation kind of splitting off from this. So that's what you get with these. You get these rotating cells, and sometimes you get one tornado that lifts up, and you get another one that forms just a couple minutes later.
It's going to be a few minutes before that gets into DeSoto County. So let's watch this one. Let's keep an eye on the one east of Sebring. Head back to you guys for just a bit, and then we'll come back. Any more information, Well, any more warnings, of course, we'll pass them along to you. Elsewhere, listen, the rain is really beginning to come down. The winds are beginning to pick up. So you are where you are. Let's stay here for the duration of the storm. Okay, guys, we'll be back.
All right. Thank you, guys. Nice work.
Let's get into it because we have tornado warnings. We have a lot of very heavy rain. The tropical storm force winds are coming in, and we're about 8 to 10 hours from landfall.
Yeah,
lots to talk about.
I was just looking, some of the winds, St. Petersburg right now gusting up to about 51 miles an hour. That's inside of some of these bands. But right now, the most current threat is yet more tornado warnings. This one just issued just moments ago extends up into DeSoto County. This goes until 2 o'clock. And these same cells, we've been talking about this one, worked its way. It was a confirmed tornado that moved North Fort Myers up through Charlotte County. And right now, you're seeing that rotation in this, but this is basically working its way right, it looks like just to the east of 17, Fort Ogden, heading right up towards Arcadia. This is moving to the north at 25 miles an hour. So if you're in Arcadia, really at this point, if you're anywhere in DeSoto County, you want to go ahead and you want to take cover. You want to go into that safe location. Then you look over into Highlands County, southeastern Polk County. And again, those same two rotations. And just look at this, is a look at the rotation track with this. To go out a little bit wider, you can actually see the lines where these have basically worked their way all the way to the north. You see these lines. You see this other one over towards Lake Okeechobee. So you're seeing that very strong, very definite rotation, and then basically just plowing right on towards the north. So at times you may actually have a tornado on the ground. At times it may lift, but it can very quickly come back down to the ground. That's why we're seeing these warnings just continue to get extended further and further to the north. So the locations that we continue to watch down into DeSoto County, but if you're into Hardy County, if you're into southeastern Polk County, these are working their way right in your direction. In fact, you look into Polk County, in this one, it is just about ready to cross the line. So not a whole lot of population out here, but you do have, going a little bit further to the north, you have State Road 60, you have Indian Lakes Estates, you have Lakeshore, and you can see as the radar updates continuing to see these work their way now into Polk County, and these are just going to continue to race on towards the north and about to somewhere between about 25 to 30 miles an hour. We now have a new tornado warning. This is for Hardy, Highlands, and Polk County, and this goes until 1:45, and that is this one right here. And so that includes Sebring, that includes Avon Park, and then works its way up just to the south of Frostproof. So you see all the areas inside of this new box, which there's so many of these on here. I'm just going to go ahead and draw on here which one is the new box compared to which one is an existing box. So that one there, flashing red, is the new tornado warning. That one goes until 1:45, which includes Hardy County, Highlands County, Polk County, working its way to the northwest at 25 miles an hour. So this is a thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located very close to Sebring right now. So no confirmation with this one at this point. But again, with all of these, at this point, you treat each and every one of these as if it's a confirmed tornado, because you just want to get into that safe location. You don't want to wait to hear that, yes, it has been confirmed. That's just, at this point, that is somewhat semantics with this.
Kind of at the point where I'm just going to tell everybody that's east of Highway 17 in Polk County and Hardy County, just stay inside. Get into your interior room. These things are popping up pretty quickly. So from Lake Wales to Frostproof, down 27, going, Jim mentioned 60. Now 60 goes over toward Yeehaw Junction, and that whole region. I need everybody to be, well, obviously you're inside, but inside that interior room, because we've had numerous reports of damage from some of these tornadoes. We've actually seen video of some of these along the East Coast, and these have been pretty hefty and pretty strong, at least from what we've seen and what the Weather Service has been telling us.
So just with his latest warning, Frostproof in about 47 minutes. Lemon Grove, 27 minutes. Avon Park Lakes, 29 minutes. Highland Lakes, 29 minutes. These are the areas that have to, you basically, you want to go in that safe spot in your house.
And what's interesting is typically when we get tornado warnings around here, they're not typically this long. But these are long duration. These have been long sitting on the ground. Jim showed you all of that rotation. So they've been going and going and going, and maybe they spin back up, but then they've been spinning back down again. So this is that whole, it's well inland, folks, but you see that rotation tracker, and you can almost follow this rotation all the way from South Florida northeast. And so it stands to reason it's not going to stop right there. It's going to go right through Polk County as well. And that's why we're saying, hey, east of Highway 17 into Polk County, and especially east of 27, get into that interior room, turn the volume up, and we'll let you know. But these storms have meant business inland so far this morning.
Yeah, just amazing to see all these tracks. These are what we call long track tornadoes.
Yeah.
Now, they aren't necessarily on the ground the entire time, but you're seeing the indication of that rotation for just such long periods of time. Just to kind of give you an idea here, this here going for nearly 60 miles with the track of this, and at least a period of time this was on the ground for sure, because it was a confirmed tornado at points along the way. Now it does look like they're starting to cancel some of these into Highlands County here. We'll kind of wait and see.
That would be good, but
that would be probably more than likely. We're looking at this one right here. But we are still, we'll go ahead and just kind of look at the current rotation here, and you still have two areas that you're definitely really looking at. First one, now working its way into Polk County, and then we have another one which looks like it is to the south and west of Sebring right now.
You mentioned something earlier, and that is, going back to the Arcadia area and that tornado warning as well, that is covered in rain. And a lot of these tornadoes are going to be shrouded in rain. And that's an issue because you can't see anything. So we don't want people, and I know the first reaction is to head outside, let me see if I can't find, no. Look at all of that rain, you're not gonna see anything. And even a lot of these rotations now into Highlands County, there's rain around now. So you're getting into that point, Jim, where these are going to be rain wrapped as well as, and it makes it much more difficult to kind of see where they are.
And we're seeing in these areas where we have this rain, we're seeing these winds easily gusting well over tropical storm force right now. We're seeing these winds gusting 40, 50 miles an hour inside of these. So this is just absolutely way too dangerous to be outside. You're not going to see anything, and this is going to start to cause some damage, because you start getting these winds constantly gusting 40, 45 miles an hour. This starts to cause damage to areas, and then you mix a tornado into the mix there, and I'm sure we're seeing some damage to homes, to trees.
It's amazing to me how far north of Lake Okeechobee you have confirmed tornadoes, and you've got a major hurricane 135 miles southwest of Sarasota.
Yeah.
That'll give you an idea of sort of the strength of all of this, producing a tornado that far away. Looks like we got another one.
Yeah, it looks like I'm going to guess it's right here. It looks like we've got
southeastern Polk County.
Yep, there you go, Lake Wales, over towards Frostproof. There you see it.
A thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado 10 miles northeast of Avon Park, moving north at 25 miles per hour. So locations impacted by this tornadic thunderstorm include Highland Park, Indian Lake Estates, Crooked Lake Park, Waverly, Lake Wales Municipal Airport, Babson Park, Frostproof, and so on and so on from those particular. That's this storm here.
Yeah, and this is, yet again, same cell that we've been watching, basically rolled all the way through Highlands County, going back out wide, and just looking at that tracker, and you can see it's basically falling right along one of these track lines. You get these track lines of rotation. They work their way right up through these areas, and that's yet again following right on that. And so we go right back into that area, and you can see that rotation right there, just crossed into Polk County. And this is the area that we're watching. This is moving to the north at 25 miles an hour. So we'll go ahead and let's draw a track on there.
Let's track that. Let's see when it's going to get over Highway 60. Not that there's a lot of people out there on Highway 60, but Indian Lake Estates in about 25 minutes or so for you. This tornadic storm, Alcoma, Lakeshore, Babson Park. So right around that Highway 60 area, Jim, you're looking at about 30, a little over 30 minutes for this to work.
Yeah, there you see Alcoma, 39 minutes. So you've got time. You've got time to take cover in any of these areas. But at times, this has been a confirmed tornado on the ground. Still seeing a sign here that we may have a tornado on the ground. If we don't, we certainly have enough rotation in here. At any moment, we could have a tornado on the ground. So let's kind of move this over a little bit.
You know, let's try to get ahead of this.
Yeah.
Let's go to northeast. Let's go to northern Polk County because I want to look at Haines City, Davenport, over toward Champions Gate, back to maybe even the Auburndale area and Haines City. Right now, you don't have a tornado warning, but we're trying to get ahead of it because everybody else to the south of you has had one, so it stands to reason from Winter Haven to Haines City to Polk City, all the way up to that Four Corners area, including Davenport and that spot going over I-4. This is where we potentially are going to have more rotation and perhaps tornado warnings moving forward. I'm just trying to keep ahead of it.
We've had this cell. I mean, it's just had such over 60 miles now that this has shown signs of rotation and at times a tornado on the ground. So where I have this white box, no, you're not under the tornado warning right now. But if we continue to see this rotation with this, these are areas that this is going to be moving to in about 45 minutes or so. So Dundee, Haines City, Davenport, up towards Champions Gate. We all know the Champions Gate area, just one of those exits along I-4. Everybody seems like in the world stops for gas right there. Over just to the east of Polk City. So along I-4, probably in about 60 minutes. So you're definitely, once you're up in this area, you've got a lot more population, especially over towards Auburndale, just to the east of Auburndale, and Winter Haven, Cypress Gardens as well.
Yeah, and I just want to point out to folks that are just tuning in right now, we have a lot of tornado warnings to your south, and we're just kind of letting you know, Haines City, Dundee, Winter Haven, Auburndale, and those spots, that all that rotation is coming your way. And while you don't have official warnings yet, you know, you got to keep that in the back of your mind in the next 30 minutes or so and just get into that interior room once that warning does get issued. And we've got multiple ones. The purple ones that are blinking are actually confirmed tornadoes. So that's the difference between the blinking red and the blinking purple. They're both tornado warnings. The purple ones are confirmed.
So right now we've got three main areas that we're really focusing in on. This one, it looks like to the south and west of Sebring. You have another one which is now working its way to the south of Arcadia. Zoom in to this area here because you're seeing quite a bit of rotation in this. This looks like it's, say, east of Fort Ogden. Put a little distance on this here to give you an idea. Running 9-10 miles to the east of Fort Ogden. This is moving to the north. I think all of these are running to the north or the northwest about 25 to 30 miles an hour right now. Then we have another one as we go a little bit further out, and we'll work our way up towards Sebring. Here you see this area. This will work its way into the northwestern corner, or northeastern corner rather, of DeSoto County, and then also we have, or I'm sorry, Hardy County, and then we also have this other one which has now worked its way to the south and east of Frostproof. So this is in Polk County right now, and again, this one is also working its way on towards the north and the west right now at about 25 miles an hour. So we're going to continue to watch each one of these areas. Go out a little bit wider here, and I think we look at some of the rain. Again, we're seeing these very strong bands working their way along the coastline. The other thing that you notice, earlier, we were looking at this eye. You could really still see a pretty definite eye. You're starting to see it's becoming a bit more eroded. Now, part of it is just, it's hard to see all the way through the eye wall just with the intensity of this, but we're also really starting to see this become more and more eroded away. Now, we're going to continue to watch that as we go through.
We've got a lot of tornadoes you've been talking about.
Yeah, we do. And we've got yet another one. I mean, I just got another one just printed out here just as I was walking over here. This one is down into Hardy County, Polk County. So it's these same areas that keep spinning up these tornadoes, and they're just slowly working their way a little bit further to the north. So,
and think about where that hurricane is. I mean, there's distance.
Yeah, I mean, we're still, I mean, we're talking about all this right now. We're the, 1:43 in the afternoon, and we're not talking about landfall until late tonight.
Wow.
with this. So we've got a long ways to go with this.
Wow. And you remember Grady Judd when we were talking to him earlier. You asked him, what's the thing that worries you the most? And he said tornadoes.
Yeah, and I mean, we've got a lot of these. We've had a lot of confirmed tornadoes. There you see, here's the next, this is the newest one here, working its way now through Polk County. This is moving to the northeast, or northwest rather, at 25 miles an hour. This is currently located near Avon Park, working its way up into Hardy and Polk County as well. So there you see it on Sky Tower radar, right there. You can see that definite rotation working its way northwest at 25 miles an hour. So over towards Fort Meade, into south of Bartow, south and east of Bartow. And you can really see the rotation with that right now. We've seen this time and time again. And these are all locations and these are all rotations that have had that just continuous off and on, very strong rotations, and then maybe weakening a little bit, but there you see it, very strong rotation with this, working its way very quickly on towards the north and west, and that's just the newest one, because we're just littered with these. Here's another one over towards Lake Wales, and just to the south of Alcoma as well. This is one that we've been talking about for probably about 25 to 30 minutes as well. This one just getting ready to move right over 60, it looks like. So over towards Lakeshore, Alcoma, Hillcrest Heights, Highland Park, and say to the east right now of Lake Wales. So if you live just to the east of Lake Wales, this is heading in your direction. Also watching other areas down to our south. Looks like some of these starting to weaken, but again, there you see all the rain with this through Wauchula. So throughout Hardy County, stretching down into DeSoto County, and then just torrential rain now working its way up into Hillsborough County, stretching over into Pinellas County as well. You see more and more of this. Look at that, right across the Sunshine Skyway Bridge. That's where we're seeing these winds gusting well in excess of tropical storm now, 50, 53 miles an hour. I'm seeing the latest wind gusts with this, and more of these bands. And here's the eye. The eye is still well off the coastline, and it's nearing the coast, but we're still hours and hours away. I'm about 120 miles off the coast of Sarasota right now, so it's going to basically trek right up in this direction. Still haven't seen much with this, but what we're going to be continuing to watch is as we go through the afternoon, we watch for that possibility of that wobble. And you start to see this more and more when you have these systems. They're kind of lopsided. You've got all this weather on one side. You've got the dry air eroding away that southern side. You start to see these wobbles in the system, and that's what we're going to watch for. It's absolutely impossible to predict when and where one of these wobbles might happen, but it's something that will get
our radar, because we have 5 tornado warnings, and I'm going to say thank you to Laura and Russell. You guys have been here early, and we're going to kick you guys out.
We're
okay,
leaving.
you guys are leaving
off right now.
Great job today,
We
bud.
got Linda Hurtado in the wings. She's going to be here. We've got Valerie and we've got Jim, and I want to turn it over to Jim, because in the last few minutes we've had, Jim, more of these little tornado warnings pop up.
Yeah, we've got more of these warnings just continue. I mean, one after the other. We just continue to watch these same areas time after time. I was just saying a minute ago, Highlands County, you've been sitting in your closet in your safe place, it seems like, for probably 3 hours, because we just continue to have more of these warnings. But just zooming into these areas that we continue to watch, and I'm going to go ahead and look at the rotation in this, and you see the reason why, because we've got a number of these areas that we're still watching. Here's one north and east of Arcadia. We have another one that is just to the south in the Charlotte County. Let me move the radar down a little bit so we can continue to see this area that we're talking about. And then here's another one down towards Lake Placid as well. All of these moving to the north or the northwest, 25 to 30 miles an hour. So if you're in any of these boxes, that includes up towards Wauchula, that includes south and east of Arcadia, over towards Lake Placid. These are all areas that you want to be in that safe location in your house, because we have tornadoes. Here's another one as we work our way up into Polk County. So many of these areas that we're continuing to watch. Lake Wales. This is one right now just starting to work its way over Highway 60 in Alcoma. I want to look at the see if we have any debris with this. And it does look, well, I don't think we can really see it with this one. But when you look at that rotation here, definitely a very strong. You see the red shade in there. That is indicative of some very strong rotation right now. East of Lake Wales, this is moving to the north at about 25 miles an hour. So this is, I think, probably a very dangerous situation and quite likely a tornado on the ground right here. This warning goes until 2:15, so another 15 minutes. I would not be surprised if this is extended. So places that are just to the north of this, Dundee up towards Davenport, these are areas that you're going to be watching this very closely, but for the time being, the areas that we're most concerned about in and around Lake Wales, zooming down towards Alcoma, Mammoth Grove Road, then stretching up towards Timberlane Road, Canal Road. These are all east of, say, Waverly, Lake Wales, north and east of Lake Wales. These are the areas that we're watching very, very closely with this, which is showing a definite sign of rotation right there. You can see it working its way over Highway 60 right now. That's the one that at this point, I'm probably the most concerned about right now, moving through some population as you look further down to the south. Here's another one that we have, which is currently just to the east of 17, right near Brownsville, and also heading to the north up towards Zolfo Springs as well, probably in the next, say, 20 minutes or so. Here's another one that is south of Lake Placid that we're watching as well, and that one is right now to the east of Highway 27. Again, each one of these areas is a tornado. None of these are confirmed tornadoes at this point, but we've had a lot of these have had past confirmed tornadoes, so a lot of rotation in each one of these. And then when you look at the radar itself, you're not going to see this because these are all rain wrapped. This is torrential rain with each one of these that are working their way through. And this is going to continue to just be something that we watch for more of these as we go through the rest of the afternoon and into tonight. Now, along the coastline, you're seeing some really strong rain. Southern Pinellas County, over into Hillsborough, stretching down into Manatee County as well. And notice where the eye is. I mean, here's the eye with this right out here. And this is currently sitting, get a distance on this. We're running now under 100 miles to the coast of Sarasota. So it's getting closer to us, but our main concern at the moment, it's this band right here. So you see what's going on. We've got this band that rotates through here, and so really anywhere inside of this, that's where we're seeing just more and more of that rotation with these, which will continue to work their way, basically spiraling up to the north. So it's not going to be too long until I think we start to see some of these getting into, say, western Polk County, also over into Hillsborough County as well, southeastern Hillsborough County, eastern Hillsborough County. These are some areas I think over the next hour or so we're going to have to really start to pay attention to some of the cells moving their way into these areas as well. I hear yet another tornado warning. It looks like it is probably right here, one of the areas that I just spoke about.
Central Polk County.
Central Polk County. I've got Valerie Mills joining me here. And this is the area that we were talking about right now, working its way through Waverly. What do you got on that?
Yeah, so this warning set to run through 2:45. Looks like this severe thunderstorm located right near Lake Wales. That's moving northwest at 25 miles per hour. So we're watching this storm right around areas near Winter Haven, Haines City, as well as Lake Wales. That just popped up here on the radar. Jim was just kind of indicating that ahead of this warning coming out. So some of the other locations that could be impacted in the path of this, we're going to shout out some of those places: Highland Park, Crooked Lake Park, Inwood, Poinciana, Cypress Gardens, Dundee, up into the Winter Haven Airport area, as well as Lake Hamilton and Polk City. So those are some of the areas kind of in line with where we are kind of tracking this storm to be heading.
So just to give you some times on this, right near Waverly, 13 minutes, Dundee, 18 minutes, Poinciana Park, 27 minutes, up towards Lake Alfred in about 35 minutes, Davenport, about 37 minutes. And this is a cell that we just continue to see rotation for probably about 70 miles now. And at times we've had a confirmed tornado on the ground. We've seen damage with this. We've seen signs of debris by radar with this. So this is a situation you want to take extremely serious into eastern and central portions of Polk County. And you see where this is heading. This is eventually heading right up towards I-4, very close to Champions Gate, over towards Polk City as well. This also does include Auburndale in eastern portions of Auburndale over towards Lake Alfred as well. A lot of population in these in these areas as well. And just go out a little bit wider on this and look at the radar, because you just continue to see these bands working their way through. And so this is really all just part of one large band that is working its way through.
To see this tornado outbreak that's coming through. And of course we know that watch extends through tonight, and so as these rain bands kind of continue to move in, we do expect more of these to kind of pop up. Now, kind of just pointing out now, we have a confirmed tornado there in Highlands, Florida, and we've got another latest update coming in right now for that, but it does look like that is a confirmed tornado on the ground. So those in that area, we need you to make sure you're just staying in your safe place. Get there if you're not already. Particularly very dangerous situation coming from the National Weather Service. So you need to take cover now if you're in those areas. We do have a confirmed tornado on the ground there in central Highlands County. And this is a large and very dangerous tornado located right near Lake Placid. It's moving north about 20 miles per hour, Jim.
Yeah, so this is the, we've got so much on the radar here. I'm going to highlight the one that specifically that we're talking about. That is the newest and the latest warning. Notice it's flashing purple. That tells us it is confirmed right now, and this is working its way right near Lake Placid. I'm going to zoom in here so we can get a better idea. So you see Parker Island, Lake Placid, basically right up 27. This is the direction that this is moving right here. This is moving to the north. At about 20 miles an hour right now.
Yeah, very close to Lake Josephine, it looks like, Archibald as well, Placid Lakes and Loretta. So all of these areas, a lot of lakes up and around these parts, and quite a few people, you know, living and, you know, having homes right there in these areas. So, you know, quite a few people, you know, kind of right in line of where this very dangerous kind of storm and tornado is traveling. So we need you to get in your safe place, not near any windows, as we continue to just ride this out and watch this. This warning set to run here for the next 20 minutes or so, but we're continuing to kind of highlight this area right near Parker Island, where we are seeing some indications of some rotation, some potential debris that we may be able to kind of see here on our radar indicated area. But yeah, you can see that right along Highway 27 and kind of stretching out to Parker Island area, it looks like.
Yeah, so you've got a Highway 27, you get up towards Taft Avenue, you get up towards Virginia Avenue as well. These are all areas that this is heading right in your direction right now, extending it further on towards the north. You see where this is. There you see DeSoto City, Loretta. Right over here, you get all these areas have to basically, if you live, say, to the east of 27 down here, this is the area in the Highlands County that we are watching most closely right now, because it looks like this rotation is basically just riding right up 27 in southern Highlands County, working its way, southern and central Highlands County, working its way on towards the north as well.
Yeah, and I was just reading, you know, this is coming from a trained spotter who is saying there's a large wedge tornado on the ground. It's moving north-northeast near Lake Placid Lakes, rather, near State Road 70 and US 27. So kind of these areas that we're focusing in on.
That's this area right here.
But to think about, you know, we can't see it, but to think about a large wedge tornado on the ground, that's very scary. And we have continued to see some of these videos and pictures of these really massive tornadoes that are spinning up with all of these rain bands and all of that friction that is going to continue to occur as these kind of whip across the state, really.
Yeah, I mean, and this is something that you're not used to talking about here. When you start hearing something like a large wedge tornado, it just gives you an indication of how much power is in these storms and how quickly these spin up. And these are very large and destructive tornadoes. And then on top of it, they're long track tornadoes. So we're seeing these go for miles and miles and miles, and we just continue. I was showing this earlier. Let me go out a little wider on this, and I'll show you this. We look at the tracks here. And so what we've seen with this, as you just kind of draw the lines on here, you can see where you see these green lines. And basically, we just continue to see these tracks over and over, and you see where these are going.
Wow.
These are working their way right through these areas that we have these confirmed tornadoes, and then they work their way up into Highland, or up into Polk County rather, as well. So we're just going to continue to see this, and I just don't think we're going to see much in the way of any let up from this. It will continue to be a situation like this, and then on top of it, you have so much rain in this. So these are all rain wrapped, very dangerous situations. So you've got the torrential rain, you've got the very strong winds. Some of these winds are gusting right now 45, 50 miles an hour just because of the rain and all the strong winds that are in this. And then on top of that, you have an embedded tornado in there as well. So just again, looking at these, this is the one confirmed tornado. I mean, this looks about as dangerous as it gets right there.
Yeah, and moving right into Lake Placid. I mean, that is, you know, not a very populated area, but there are a lot of houses right in and around there. I know a lot of people who have houses in this area. So there are certainly a lot of little towns here, and so very dangerous situation as we think about kind of the sheer size and strength of a wedge tornado of this kind of magnitude, of the size that we're seeing here on our radar indicated kind of storm velocity, where we're seeing those winds kind of heading toward the radar, away from the radar. That's where we get that indication of some spin. That's what we look for. But of course, now we know, we have spotters in this area who are seeing, and we're going to continue to see if we maybe get any of that video or, pictures of what, these spotters on the ground are actually seeing here in the Lake Placid area.
Yeah, just zooming in, I mean, here you see Highland Park Estates. You're seeing a lot of little roads in here. This is obviously, this is a community, some subdivisions here in and around 27 heading to the north. So there are plenty of homes down here, and this is working its way right through this area, and that is a very definite signature right there. I mean, you're seeing very strong rotation in this, and with the confirmation here that we've got a tornado on the ground. If you're in this area, if you're just north of this area, this is the time you want to take cover. You want to be in that safe location in your house, away from any windows. Towards the center of your house, you want to be on the lowest level. If you have a two-story home, you want to go to the lower level of the home as well. And this extends just to the south of Sebring. But if this continues to show this rotation, this could very easily extend further on to the north, and we could eventually see this warning extended further into northern Citrus County and eventually up into Polk County as well. So that's something that we're going to continue to watch for as well. But this is the area that we're seeing that very definite rotation on radar right now, working its way over Lake Placid, right along Highway 27, pushing on towards the north as well. So you can see there's definitely some communities in this area as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So as we've been saying, if you're watching here in these areas, some of the communities that you see here on the map, or maybe you're hearing us shout out, you need to get to your safe space. We don't want you out near the windows trying to look outside and see what you might be able to see as we're talking about this, because as we're kind of seeing all of these storms spin up, they are very heavy rain-wrapped areas. So even if you were to be trying to maybe see what you can see as a lot of active weather out and around your house, you won't be able to see too much. And it is a dangerous situation as we have a confirmed tornado on the ground kind of tracking to the north and northeast of these areas. So we want you on a lower level, we want you in an interior room, definitely away from the windows. We're just going to have to keep riding this out, because we certainly are going to talk about more of these. And you talk about the long track that these are able to kind of sustain themselves. When we're talking about tornadoes associated with hurricanes and hurricane bands like this, they're typically a little bit different than these supercell tornadoes that we do see. So we typically see them strong, but relatively short-lived. So to be talking about these kind of triggering as they continue to sustain themselves, I mean, just kind of goes to show the energy here in the atmosphere, the energy that these storms and these tornadic storms are feeding off of. Just a very dangerous situation and something that we're just going to have to watch right on through the afternoon and evening.
Yeah, and inside of these bands, I think that the common thing for people to do is, now you're in one of these bands, you get the strong winds, and you start hearing something knocking around outside, and you're thinking, hey, I need to go outside, I need to strap this down, I need to take care of this. In these areas, this is something you don't want to do, because you could very easily be walking right into a tornado. So that might be what's going on, or you might have that tornado on top of you very quickly, because you just see how much rain is working its way through there, and embedded in these, you may not be right under that tornado, but there are winds 50, 60 miles an hour.
Right.
Working their way through these as well. But
yeah, and you know, we're at the point where, you know, even if we're not talking about a tornado right near you, there is certainly going to start to be flying debris, breaking branches, that sort of thing. So regardless, it is a dangerous situation, and it's that point in the event where we're starting to see those tropical storm conditions really expand, and it is at this point moving forward where everyone should be in their safe place where they're going to ride out the rest of this storm. We talked about how things are slowly going to deteriorate, and that's what we've really seen over the last 2 hours or so. And it looks like our latest update, we're seeing this confirmed tornado that we've been tracking 6 miles southeast of Archbold. So just kind of keeping up with the general area that we're continuing to watch here, and the latest updates that are coming from, you know, some of our weather spotters on the ground and that sort of thing.
yeah, I think what we're looking at right here, I think we're seeing some signs of some debris working its way now basically right along 27, south of 98, up towards Coleman as well. And so this is heading, again, in that north and northwesterly direction, about 20 miles an hour. And I think we're starting to get some signs.
You know what, I wonder if this is a picture of the wedge tornado, because this was about 17 minutes ago in Lake Placid. So this might actually be it. I'll try and get this kind of clipped over, and maybe we can show it on air. Just the sheer size of this, a pretty scary looking storm, and to be kind of traveling right there along a state highway and see that off in the distance, I mean, that is just terrifying.
Yes. So again, we're watching this, waiting for another update from the radar here. But you do see in this area, moving up 27. I'm going to go ahead and put this into motion and go out a little bit wider on this so you can see, just get an idea of how everything's been moving along. And there you see the center, the eye, off the coastline, but you continue to see that band working its way through as well, right through here. And we just continue to see so many tornadoes and tornado warnings embedded in this main band, and then you also have some just sort of breaking off up into northeastern portions now of Polk County. So I want to zoom into that area as well, up in the northeastern Polk County, because this is yet another tornado warning that we were talking about earlier. Now working its way from Lake Wales, pushing up to the north. So this is an area that we have to watch over the next half an hour or so as well. So Haines City over towards Davenport, just to the east of Auburndale. Definite sign here. We'll look at, stop the radar, and we'll look at some of the rotation in this. Looks like right now probably the strongest rotation very near Dundee, Lake Hamilton, to the east of Cypress Gardens. I'm going to go ahead and circle the area that we're talking about right through here. And this is working its way to the north and northwest, about 20 to 25 miles an hour. So up towards Davenport, this is an area that it is heading in your direction, and then eventually up towards I-4, over towards Champions Gate, to the east of Polk City, and also Lake Alfred. Lake Alfred very close to this as well. So if you're in any of these areas, you want to take cover now, because we also have a what looks to be a tornado in this area as well, working its way very quickly on towards the north and the east. Now, we've got so many areas that we're tracking. We also have down into Highlands County once again, also Hardy and DeSoto County. Those in Hardy and DeSoto do look like they're starting to weaken the rotation with those, but I think one that we're watching most closely is along 27 with the latest update on the radar. It does look like This might be starting to weaken. I probably want to wait and see a little bit more as far as the scan on this, but we had a very definite rotation. If I back up the radar here, just going back, that's when it was moving right over Lake Placid. We go forward in time to current time, and you're seeing this is starting to become a bit more elongated. You're not seeing nearly as good of a sign of rotation here. You're starting to see more of these strong winds, but you're not seeing as much of the rotation with this. So this may be starting to weaken, but if you're in this area near Coleman, up towards DeSoto City as well, and say just to the south of Sebring. I want you to go ahead and I want you to stay in your safe location right now because we still do have a tornado warning that goes until 2:30, so another 10 minutes in this area. But it does look like potentially this is starting to weaken. But we have seen this a number of times throughout the morning and throughout early this afternoon. We see these starting to weaken, and then they ramp right back up in intensity. So just because we're starting to see this signs that this may be weakening at this moment, we kind of want to wait a few more minutes here to see if that trend continues. Because as I look at this, I mean, we're already starting to see maybe the signs of yet maybe another rotation trying to start right near Sebring as well. Look at the radar. Let's see if that coincides with an actual cell in that area, and it does. So that's something, I mean, it's at this point, this might just be some strong winds in this location, but it might also be a cell. Did you get that picture over there? Or is that
I'm trying to get in there, but haven't gotten it.
Yeah, so we're still working on trying to get some of these pictures in there where we did see from one person down in the Highlands County, right along 27, of that large wedge tornado. So very, very scary situation. But we're going to continue to track some of these areas. And again, I just mentioned this. As along 27, we are starting to see some signs that maybe this is weakening, and just as quickly as it looked like it was starting the weekend, we might start to see this starting to re-intensify a little bit. So can't say that we absolutely have something on the ground right here. We'd had a confirmed tornado earlier. This still could quite possibly be a tornado on the ground right along 27, or maybe even shifting a little bit to the west of 27. So anywhere in this area near Coleman, DeSoto City, south of DeSoto City, south of 98. These are the areas that we're watching most closely, where we're seeing that definite sign of some rotation with this. And I'm hearing yet another tornado warning here. This is for DeSoto, Hardy, and Highlands County. So this is the area here as we go out wide once again. So that was DeSoto, Hardy, and Highlands County. So we'll wait for this to populate on here because the radar, I think, is starting to have trouble even keeping up with these, but this one goes until 3 o'clock this afternoon. So that one is this area right here, and that's Highlands County. This is for, again, we'll just run through the counties again: eastern Hardy County, southeastern Polk County, northeastern DeSoto County. This goes until 3 o'clock. This is a radar indicated, so there's not a confirmation at this point of a tornado. But I think the area that we're most specifically talking about is this right here, which at one point was a confirmed tornado, but at this point working its way right up 27. This is moving. It says at 2:22, this was a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located near Sylvan Shores, near Lake Placid. This is moving to the north at 30 miles an hour. So again, same basic areas that we continue to watch with each one of these cells. And again, you have so much activity as far as the rainfall. That's what you're looking at here. You're just looking at all the heavy rain with this. And notice the lightning's on. You're just not seeing a lot of lightning, which is very typical when you have these tropical systems. There'll be lightning near the eye. There'll be some lightning sporadic through it. But for the most part, there's not a lot of lightning that is associated with tropical systems. But you have that torrential rain, and it comes down about as hard as you'll ever see. But you also have embedded in these bands, and what is causing all our issues right now are the spin-up tornadoes. Typically, you see these, they spin up, They travel 10, 15 miles and they lift. And we see another one develop somewhere else. But what we've seen with this is essentially long track tornadoes, which have gone maybe not continuously, but the same cell has continued to produce and prompt tornado warnings, and at times confirmed tornado warnings for 50, 60, 70 miles. So it continues to be an issue with watching this. Yep. If you got the picture, let's take the time to switch over to this.
It gets a little, you know, kind of loses some of its pixelation here, but it just kind of goes to show what we're talking about, what people are seeing here. This in the Lake Placid area. This picture was snapped right around 2 o'clock. That was exactly when this warning was issued. Very good reason for that. That looks like it's just outside the highway. You can see that car there driving by. A massive wedge tornado, a very dangerous situation, especially given, you know, how close we are talking about this to, you know, highways and some of the towns there. I know there's a little airport there that was mentioned in one of the places in line. And so we're still continuing to see some signs of rotation there on the radar, but just the sheer size of this, pretty incredible that we are seeing such large tornadoes that continue to spin up. And, you know, we talk about some of the ones that we've also seen. This is the one that we saw just a little bit ago. You can see this one's a video right around Palm Beach County. We've had some of these far east into Broward County as well. And so these are very large, very dangerous tornadoes, something we don't always see as we're talking about these hurricanes. You know, every hurricane is definitely different, but this one has already proven that it's going to be a very proficient tornado producer. And so we just have to be really on high alert with this, because this storm, we've been talking about it, it is bringing a whole host of threats to the area, including the storm surge, including the heavy rain, the hurricane force winds, but we have been mentioning the potential for those tornadoes, and the fact that we're just seeing so many of these warnings. I mean, at this point, we're talking about a tornado outbreak for these areas. We're just seeing warning after warning, confirmed tornadoes. And so we just have to stay on high alert. Make sure you have a way to get these kind of advisories and alerts issued. It's great that you're on here with us, and we'll continue to update you as we, you know, see more of these pop up, I'm sure, through the event, as really we're talking about the brunt of this storm later tonight into the early Thursday morning hours. So, you know, it's one of those nights where you even take the family and sleep in your safe space if you are home in these areas that are under a tornado watch.
Yeah, you really do. And just since we talked about the last warning, we've had 2 more warnings come out. I mean, that's how quickly these are coming right now. So you look at the radar, and here we are. This is in extreme southern Highlands County. This one goes until 3 o'clock, and this is the area that we're talking about. You can see this rotation once again. This time it looks like just to the west of 27. This is heading up towards Venus. Eventually looks like working its way up towards Archbold. Childs, Parker Island once again could be under this. This is the warning right here. Definite rotation, it looks like, right there, working its way on that western side of 27. This is just to the south of the county line of Highlands County down into Glades County. So we have that warning. We also have yet another warning. This is the one that has been extended. This is for really the rest of Highlands County, because once again, the vast majority of Highlands County is under some kind of a warning right now, either a confirmed tornado or a possible tornado on the ground. And this one goes until 3 o'clock. This also extends up into portions of Hardee County, eastern and northeastern Hardee County, because you see here we've got a rotation over here. We have a rotation between Sebring and Lake Placid. This one that is south of Sebring showing more and more signs. Right now over DeSoto City. Remember, this was the one that, for time, this was a confirmed tornado. And that's, I believe this is the one that we actually have the picture of, as it was even further to the south. So not necessarily on the ground at this point, but we're definitely seeing a possibility that it could be on the ground in this area. I want to flip over, see if we see any signs. Not seeing any signs right now. A little muddled with the radar data to see if we are actually seeing any debris, but we're definitely seeing some rotation. There you see it right near DeSoto City, also on that western side of Sebring, right over the lake. and then basically where the road kind of splits off around Sebring, you get 17 going one way, you get 27 going the other way. So we've got some signs of some rotation there. We also have some signs further on towards the west over into Hardy County, in and around Lemon Grove, or just to the south of there. And then we've got Wauchula over here right on the edge of the screen. So this is basically to the south and east of Wauchula with this rotation. As we scoot the radar over, you can see where Wauchula is on there as well. So lots going on. And the radar is just littered with all these warnings. We just continue as quickly as one warning goes away, yet another warning comes up, yet another spin in the atmosphere. So at this point, I think we're watching 4 distinct different areas right now, and you see all the warnings on here. And of course, over on the eastern side of the state as well, they were expecting to see this activity later on today. And you see over towards 95, over towards Port St. Lucie, over in Osceola County, over towards Sebastian and the Satellite Beach to the south and west of there. They are dealing with these as well. Another area that we essentially almost forgot about, but it's still there. This is near Dundee, basically working its way right up 27. So Hayden City to the east of Lake Alfred. I'm still seeing a lot of strong winds. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of do a little query of some of the winds in this, and this is up. This is higher up in the atmosphere, but indicative of what kind of winds we're looking at in this area. As you look at the actual reflectivity of the radar, this is intense line of storms working its way through right near Lake Alfred, along 17, stretching down towards Dundee as well, and Haines City pushing up towards Davenport, just to the south of I-4. And all this is very quickly working its way in that north and northwesterly direction, 25, 30 miles an hour right now. We look for some of the rotation in this. And definitely, we're seeing signs of rotation from Dundee to Lake Hamilton, basically right along 27. These are the areas that we're seeing the strongest amounts of rotation in this. And so these are the areas that, if you're under this warning, if you're in this area, you want to take cover as well. You want to be in that safe location in your house. Again, just to kind of go out wide to give you a perspective of the areas that we're talking about. This is in that eastern portion of Polk County, stretching up just to the south of I-4. We also have down in the Highlands County, and you see really at this point, the vast majority of Highlands County is under some kind of a warning right now. The only maybe good news that I have at the moment is there's no confirmed tornado. No confirmed tornado warnings right now. These are all radar indicated at this moment. But again, at this moment, the number of warnings that we've had, the number of warnings that have turned into confirmed tornadoes, we have to treat each one of these as if this is a confirmed tornado on the ground.
Yeah,
absolutely. You can't take the risk of that.
And I just want to note, Jim, because we just got this message in from the National Weather Service, we do have a flash flood warning now for part of Pinellas County. We have already seen about up to 3.5 inches of rain.
Looking at is another warning. There you go. Thank you. That goes until 3:15. This is that one cell. I mean, what's interesting about this, just from the scientific standpoint, this is a cell that was essentially working its way to the north. Now, because it's part of that whole band, it's now turning more towards a northwesterly direction. So you watch that cell over towards Dundee. It was basically at one point heading towards I-4, and now making that turn. And you can see this area. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in to this spot because right near Auburndale. This may be passing over Auburndale, maybe just to the north of it, but right now it looks like it's working its way very close to you, between 17 and 92. This is the area as I stop the radar and circle this spot right there. And we look at the rotation in this, and you're seeing a very strong rotation. You're seeing those reds in there. That is showing that very, very strong rotation right now between Lake Alfred, Auburndale, and Winter Haven, situated right in this one spot. This is a radar indicated tornado moving to the northwest at 25 miles an hour. This warning goes until 3:15 for portions of Polk County. So if you're anywhere in and around Auburndale to the north or to the west of Auburndale, and this is over towards Foxtown, Polk City, along I-4, and across the Polk Parkway as well, especially on that eastern side. If you live in any of these areas, I'm going to go ahead and go in a bit closer so you can see some. I mean, there's a lot of population in this area. Auburndale, pretty populated area, and so it is working its way right through this area right now. So if you're in these locations, you're the one. I want you to go into that safe location, away from any windows, lower level of your house. You can turn the TV up so you can hear us. You can also, you can get the Fox Local app. You should have that on your phone right now. You can turn us on that app, and you can listen in case your power goes out. Your TV is going to go off, but your cell phone is going to continue to work, so you can continue to hear us. You can continue to hear those warnings that we're giving you as well. And definitely seeing a very strong rotation in this area as we look at the velocities. This is a very strong. If you don't have an actual tornado on the ground, you most certainly have some very, very strong winds in this cell right now, moving through Lake Alfred over towards Auburndale as well. You see some of these winds, and this is a couple of thousand feet up into the atmosphere because we're using a radar to see these winds right now. So we don't see it at the surface, we see just above the surface, but that's what you're looking at here are winds 80, 90 miles an hour. And then when you have the rain on top of that, you have the very strong rain. What it does is it carries those very strong winds that are just above you down to the ground. So in these areas, you have these winds. You're more than likely seeing winds gusting right now over 50 miles an hour if you don't have a tornado, but we're seeing signs of rotation in this. So it's very likely you either have a tornado about to touch down or you have a tornado on the ground right now, basically between Lake Alfred, Auburndale, and Winter Haven, and moving to the northwest right now at 25 miles an hour. So as I zoom in, I'm going to look at where this is as far as the velocity is concerned, and then we're going to put a track on this to give you a bit of an idea. So if this is moving to the northwest at about 25 miles an hour, these are the areas that we're most concerned about as far as where this is heading to in the next, say, 45 minutes. So Kathleen, Foxtown, Polk City, you can see Auburndale, 8 minutes, essentially it's on top of you right now. Over towards Providence, 36 minutes if this holds together that long, which is certainly a possibility because we've seen the trend has been for these to be lasting very long periods of time. Sounds like we're getting yet another warning starting to come out right now. So we'll kind of go out a bit wider and see what is the new warning here that we have as we watch this one. We also have another one down in the Highlands County, and we've got yet more coming into portions of Highlands County. And at this point, it looks as if what they're doing is they're just filling in who in Highlands County does not have a warning.
Gosh, that is wild.
Because this has got to be about one of the most bizarre looking tornado warning boxes that you'll see. But it's basically who doesn't have a warning. We've got to fill in who doesn't have a warning, and that's essentially, it looks like, your newest warning, which that one goes until 3:30. Yes. Okay. So now we're getting reports of damaged homes in Lake Placid on Bell Tower Avenue. So this is right in. Here's Lake Placid. I'm not going to even pretend to know exactly where this is in Lake Placid. On a report of 10 homes in this area. So once again, this tells us, I mean, we've seen confirmed tornadoes moving through this area. So this is the spot that we're talking about, that yet again we have another tornado warning in this area. Now, just going down just to the south of Highlands County, this is what has prompted the latest tornado warning in Highlands. This is the extreme southeastern corner of Highlands County, and this is because we have a confirmed tornado once again just to the south, right there. You can see the rotation. This is a confirmed tornado in Glades County, and this is working its way onto the north and the northwest rather, at about 20 to 30 miles an hour. So this will be working its way into that essentially the one portion of Highlands County that is not currently under a warning. And then we have the confirmation of damaged homes in Lake Placid. You have more rotations working their way through there as well. But that also tells us that these are some of the same rotations that have now worked their way all the way up towards Avon Park. You're seeing what doesn't necessarily look to be a rotation, but we're seeing signs of some really strong winds, say from Avon Park along 64 and just starting to work their way into southern Polk County. So, I mean, this is just continuing to be an extremely dangerous and serious situation with this band that's working its way through. The amount of energy we've seen in this one band has just simply been amazing.
Yeah, and you know, we saw this band when it was just off the coast, and we saw all of those potential cells for spin-ups, and we certainly were seeing that on radar, and we had a feeling that once these came on shore, we would just have a series of tornado warnings and tornadic storms with those rain bands, and that's certainly come to fruition here. We think about kind of all of that rotation as it comes on land, all that friction it creates, and we get just general that rotation. And with this just broad rotation, with Hurricane Milton now about 200 miles or less away from us, we already have a lot of the dynamics in place, and these are some fast moving storms. And so they're able to spin up these, at this point, very powerful tornadoes that we've been seeing here a little bit closer to Tampa Bay and off to the east coast of the state, really on the other side of Alligator Alley, some very large tornadoes in those areas as well. And so very dangerous situation as we anticipate, you know, more of these to be able to unfold here, as we're expecting more of these rain bands to kind of lift in from the south and southwest. So Jim, continuing to kind of circle in on some of the areas of immediate concern with these latest warnings.
Just to kind of go back, this is the area near Lake Placid that we got the reports near Bell Tower Avenue, just kind of a broad brush. This is the area that we're looking at where we got the confirmation of, it sounds like 10 homes damaged by the tornado. So that was the one that worked its way through. What about, I'm losing track of time, to be honest with you.
It was right
I
around
think
2 o'clock.
Yeah, so we're talking nearly an hour ago. I was going to guess about 30 minutes ago, but time is going by pretty quickly here. So you look at the current warnings that we have, and essentially we'll go ahead and we'll say anyone in Highlands County, you're under a warning right now, because I think there's you know, to be technical, there's a little sliver of southwestern corner of Highlands County, but at this point, everybody's under warning in Highlands County that extends up into southern Polk County. And I'm noticing right here, maybe it looks like something, it looks like maybe just, whoops, sorry about that, just to the south of Fort Meade. Starting to see, it looks like, the possibility of some rotation there as well as we look at that rotation. Yeah, there we go. Seeing a very strong sign of some rotation right there. So that is south of Fort Meade. Put this in the motion so we can kind of get an idea of the motion of this. And so it does look like Fort Meade. This is basically heading right up in your direction. So we're going to be watching this. Technically, you're not under a warning. It's just to your south. So at this point, I mean, it doesn't mean a whole lot that it's only just to your south. I would consider yourself in the warning right now. Fort Meade, south of Bartow, Pembroke, south of there as well. Pembroke, go ahead and consider yourself in this warning as well, because this looks like this could be yet another tornado either forming or on the ground at this point in this location. I'm going to go out wide once again. Let's look up near Auburndale. This is the one that we were talking about just a few minutes ago. And yes, once again, still seeing signs of rotation with this storm as well. If you're not seeing a tornado on the ground because of the heavy rain, you certainly have extremely strong winds in this, because when you look at some of the winds just above the surface, we're close to 100 miles an hour, 96 miles an hour right now, just to the north of Auburndale. Yes, that's just above the surface, but you have that torrential rain which carries that momentum of all that wind right down to the ground. So this is going to cause damage in this area, whether it's straight line winds or whether it's an actual tornado on the ground. Who cares at this point?
Yeah, and as we're talking about the wind threat, moving forward, we are going to be dealing with these very damaging wind gusts that continue to move through, especially with these stronger rain bands. I mean, you look at how heavy the rain is coming down for these areas. All of these areas that are currently under these tornado warnings, I mean, we're talking very heavy rain, so rain-wrapped tornado activity as well. And then we're looking at the potential for these wind gusts, upwards of 100 miles per hour as we get closer and closer to that landfall. And of course, with that, we're already seeing those rain totals start to add up here. And we're expecting, some pretty high rain totals when it's all said and done. But you look at that, already just outside of downtown St. Pete, nearly 5 inches of rainfall, 2-3 inches really area wide as we get into parts of Sarasota, Manatee County, and even inland, and in some of those spots where we've seen some of these kind of tornado warned storms roll through right around the Sebring area. Looks like 2.5 inches there. Fort Meade, just outside you, 2.5 down to 3 in the Wauchula area as well. So yes, the rain is going to be a concern, and you can see all that heavy rain just off the coast there, as that's already been kind of coming down, and we're seeing more of these winds kind of bumping up to our coast. And so I'm going to continue to watch for these conditions to worsen here through the rest of this afternoon, this evening, especially as we look at Sky Tower radar. We can really see all of that activity, all of these heavy rain bands lifting from south to north, and so heavy rain coming down, but particularly in this kind of band from Polk County right on through parts of Avon Park down to Sebring. I mean, those rainfall rates look pretty intense to me, and so we're going to continue to see those 2- and 3-inch totals that we've already seen come down on the ground really stack up pretty quickly. There, it looks like we've switched over to our actual rainfall rates. 7.5 inches per hour. I mean, that's incredible. 6 inches per hour. These are some of the rain bands that we're talking about when we're talking about the potential for these isolated rainfall totals when this event is all said and done to be well over a foot. And it's bands like this that are dropping 6-7 inches of rain per hour that are going to be some of the problem areas moving forward.
This is going to cause very quick flooding in these areas, because no, it doesn't rain at that rate in this spot for an hour, but it's there for 15 minutes, and just the amount of rain that you're going to pick up, I mean, you're going to pick up an inch or two of rain in 15 minutes, and even for Florida, that's a lot of rain for us to pick up in that short amount of time. So you're going to start to see, I think, some substantial flooding with this as well over the next several hours as well. So we just continue to watch each one of these areas. Southern Polk County, watching this area moving into, now it looks like moving just to the north and west of Auburndale, basically right over the Polk Parkway. We're seeing that's one area that we've been watching. I'm going to go ahead and circle this area right here. So that one looks like it's continuing to work its way on to the north and the west, go out wide once again, and then you look down into essentially all of Highlands County. So we're going to continue to watch each one of these areas. We're going to take a quick little break here, and we're going to be back with obviously much more as we continue.
Tower radar. We were just looking at that 3 o'clock advisory that dropped in, and we'll get to that in just a second. But let's show you what we're tracking out there on Sky Tower. You can see this really just distinct line of thunderstorms and rain bands that are causing really a tornadic outbreak that extends across so many counties. We're going to kind of circle in this area here. You can very clearly see the wrapping of those bands that are coming on shore, and just the line of tornado warnings that are coming with them. So really quite incredible as we are tracking just these storms that have been able to sustain not just tornadoes, but very large, dangerous and damaging tornadoes. We just got reports of a tornado that touched down near Fantasy of Flight in Polk County. We know that about 10 homes were damaged from that storm that we were just tracking near Lake Placid. And so we're going to continue to keep a very close eye on these storms as we still have several tornado warnings in effect, and we're switching switching over to our storm winds. That's where we kind of take a closer look at the velocity levels that are happening closer to the ground. So we're looking for those signs of rotation here, and it looks like this is one of the areas right outside of Lakeland, Eaton Park and Galloway, Auburndale areas. Some of those spots are kind of right where we're watching for the potential of some of that rotation detector. You can see that where we're kind of highlighting that green color there. And so these are the areas that we're keeping a close eye on. We do know that kind of generally just to the south of here, we've got a whole cluster of, tornadic activity, these thunderstorms that have been producing these spin-ups. And so these are all kind of lifting from south to north. And so we're highlighting these areas that are potentially in line to see this activity moving in, to see these warnings possibly extend further north, because that's basically what we've seen as we've been kind of moving forward over the last couple of hours. There we're kind of focusing in right to the east of Fort Meade and kind of right across, it looks like 98 and outside the frost-proof area. That's another spot where we're seeing some rotation detector, some of that debris indication, I guess you would say, on our radar there, where we're seeing those bright greens, those bright red colors.
Yeah, we just continue to see all these areas right now, right between Fort Meade and Frostproof. That's an indication of a very strong rotation in this area as we flip over and you look at the winds in this, and you're seeing that just in the velocity data here, where you're seeing it has just crossed over Fort Meade. Every one of these are moving to the north or the northwest at about 25 to 30 miles an hour, and it's just that same band that essentially all morning has shown rotation after rotation. Here's another one that's worked its way into extreme eastern and southeastern Highlands County. So this is well to the south and east of Sebring right now. This is working its way up towards 98. Not a whole lot of population in that area, but it is yet another area that we're watching very closely. And then we flip back over and just look at that more traditional, that reflectivity, where we're looking at all the rain, and you can see just how much of this. And so on top of all this, we're really now starting to accumulate so much more of that rain coming down. Now, go out a little wider here, and over here is where we actually have the eye. Now, the eye is located, if we go right to the center of that, back towards Sarasota, we're now about 85 miles off the coast. And I want to go out just a little bit wider on this, and we'll back up the time here for about an hour and just kind of loop through this to see what kind of movement we've got with this. And it just continues on that same track. One of the things we'll be watching for as we go through the afternoon is just to see if we have any sort of indication of any wobbles with this. We go back in time a little bit further with this, and what you're looking at is, again, a pretty steady, straight path with this. But quite often, you see these wobbles. We like to think when we draw these lines on here on a forecast track that they move from point A to point B. Well, that's just not the way it works. They wobble and they weave along, so it's not really a complete straight path with these. And so as we go through later on today and into tonight, any wobble that we do see, that can really spell a big difference for exactly who is affected by this as we go through this evening. Now, it does look like maybe we've just gotten yet another warning here as I look at this popping up here. It looks like right there. I'm going to go ahead and stop the radar, and let's take a quick look at this to see if we've got yet another warning. This goes till 3:30. This is let's look at some of the winds inside of this. I think what we're just looking at is just more of the same in these areas, right along 98 and pushing up towards Bartow and Eagle Lake. We do see what looks like definite rotation, or a pretty good sign. It looks like maybe just on that western side of this warning as well, an area that we're going to continue to watch as well. So if you are in Mulberry, if you're in Bartow, if you're over towards Lake Wales, or maybe just to the little bit of the west of Lake Wales, and then back towards Eagle Lake. These are the areas right now. I think you probably want to take cover. You want to be in that safe location as well. We've seen definitely some signs of some rotation. We had some in and around the Auburndale area. You are now out of your warning up towards Auburndale, in and around into the east of Lakeland. That does look like that has weakened. That warning has now expired for that area. So right now we have 2 active warnings in the area, one into central and southern Polk County, extending down towards Sebring, and then that other one in extreme eastern and southeastern corner of Highlands County. You look at the radar, again, just absolutely amazing to see the number of warnings across the area, that we just continue to see each one of these bands. And the other thing that you notice is you're seeing more and more that southern side of the storm that is getting eroded away. And so that's something that we've been talking about, that we've noted would happen with this, but we're also seeing so much of that weather on that northern side of the storm. And that's going to continue to be more of an issue here. But Sky Tower radar right now, very active, and I wanted to take a moment to show you this, because this is the power outages, and those are starting to really accumulate at this point. You look into Hillsborough County, and we're at 9,500, 6,500 into Pinellas, down into Manatee. We're now at 8,000 out of power right now, and we just now have yet a new tornado warning. So just at the time we were excited about no tornado warnings, here we go yet again. And this is over into central Polk County. This is the area that we're looking at, and it seems familiar because we've seen a number of warnings over into that eastern portion and central portion of Polk County. This one goes until 4:30. This is a radar indicated tornado warning. Right now, this is a thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located 8 miles to the north of Avon Park. This one is moving very fast. This one's moving to the north at 55 miles an hour. So this one is really caught up in this wind. And here's what we're looking at. As we look at the winds in this, there you see it. Looks like right now to the east of 27. I'm going to circle the area that we are looking at right down here. And so this is moving to the north at 55 miles an hour. So right now, this very moment, frost-proof, Hillcrest Heights, over towards Lake Wales, you need to be in your safe location. This is heading basically in your direction over towards Alcoma. Alcoma, I know you've had a number of warnings in just to the east of Lake Wales, but here we go again. We have another tornado right now. Radar indicated, no confirmation, but at this point we have to treat them the same, regardless whether they're confirmed or not. And then this will work its way to the north. Now, you notice how large this warning is, and that is simply because this is moving so fast, moving to the north right now at 55 miles an hour. So you look at the rotation in this, and this is the area that we're excuse me, this is the area that we're looking at. It just now worked its way into Polk County, and that is the rotation right there. And that is working its way right towards frostproof. And with that speed at 55 miles an hour, this is going to be in frostproof probably in the next, say, 3, 4, 5 minutes. So it's basically, it's there right now. And then this will continue to race on towards the north and east as we continue to see the radar scanning this area. We're already seeing this a bit further to the north, up towards frostproof as well. Heading up towards Lake Wales, and this is just going to continue on that same basic track. Go out wide on this once again and look at just all the rain, and then we just continue to watch these very strong bands. And just as we go out wide, we have yet another warning. This one, it looks like filling in that hole into southeastern Polk County, and it does look like this is now for a cell that's working its way just to the east of frostproof. There we go. That one goes until 4:30 as well. And this is the area now working its way into, looks like, Highlands County, well east of Avon Park. But this is moving to the to the north as well, moving to the north at 20 miles an hour. So this one moving a bit slower, but again, so we've got one right around Frostproof. We have another one that's working its way a bit further on towards the east, maybe not nearly as much population once you get right over into this corner, but certainly up over towards Frostproof, over towards Hillcrest Heights, heading up towards Lake Wells. There's population in this area. You've got Bach Tower in here. You've got some communities right along 27 heading up to the north as well. Let's go out wide once again and look at just all the rain continuing to spread through these areas. And then as far as the rainfall mounts, we're just continuing to watch more of this piling up right along the coastline. And then just so much of this starting to spread inland as well in the Sarasota, and then you see this moving over into our inland communities as well. So we do have a flash flood warning in many of these areas throughout the interior as well. I want to take the time here to talk about the track.
Yeah, I'd say back in the weather office, hour or two, kind of going over the whole situation, guys. Appreciate you tuning in today. I'm here with Nash. We got you covered throughout the evening. As far as the storm goes, we've got multiple hazards that are underway. This is going to end up being one of the biggest tornado outbreaks from a tropical system on record in our state. This has been incredible today, and these are not the ones that we usually see that are elevated and don't reach the ground. We had a big tornado down in Milton that moved across I-75, big tornado in North Fort Myers, and multiple tornado warnings all the way up and down the spine of the state. As I said, one of the biggest tornado outbreaks on record from a tropical system. So we covered that. There will likely be additional warnings issued, but a lot of them could be up here and over here. So we'll watch it. We'll let you know. At the same time now, there's so much dynamics in the atmosphere. Get a little front in play. The hurricane is kind of transitioning from a pure tropical system to more of a kind of a system that has more winter characteristics. And sometimes that transition can bring additional energy into the storm. You can kind of see the eye. Well, here's the eye. And it looks like it's open to the south and southwest. And the weakening process that we talked about, when I woke up this morning, very early, couple hours sleep, and checked the situation, it was still a Cat 5. And it was getting fairly close. But as expected, the environment near us just does not support a Category 5 hurricane. It's down to a Cat 3, maybe Cat 2, Cat 3 at landfall. That is the diameter of the eye. And look at the heavy rain. So we're talking freshwater flooding. And some of the rainfall potential numbers may be 1 to 2 feet